Welcome back. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, facing more challenges to his leadership this morning after Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie said that he will co-sponsor Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's motion to vacate the Speaker. Here's the Speaker yesterday. Watch.
I am not resigning, and it is, in my view, an absurd notion that someone would bring a vacate motion, and we are simply here trying to do our jobs. It is not helpful to the cause. It is not helpful to the country. It does not help the House Republicans advance our agenda, which is in the best interest of the American people here.
Joining me now is New York Congresswoman and House Republican Conference Chairwoman Elise Stefanik. Chairwoman, great to see you. Thanks very much for being here. What is your reaction to what's going on in the House right now and this challenge to Mike Johnson?
Well, first of all, I strongly support Speaker Mike Johnson. As the conference chair, I oversaw the 3 weeks of the process of electing a speaker after the unfortunate motion to vacate that removed former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. And Mike Johnson was the only one who could get through that process and had unanimous votes on the floor. We are in very challenging times with the slimmest majority since World War I, since 1917, and we are working every single day to hold the line. And if you look at what we've accomplished in this House Republican majority, so much of what we have done, the Senate under Chuck Schumer has refused to take up. For example, we passed the most significant border security bill. We passed the most significant Parents' Bill of Rights when it comes to education. We have stood strongly with Israel. Just this week, we have a number of bills that we've brought to the floor, asserting our support of Israel, condemning Iran. And as we see, the squad and parts of the Democrat Party are anti-Israel and anti-Semitic. So Mike Johnson is doing a strong job in a very challenging time. And I'll tell you, I chaired the conference yesterday. The vast majority, almost to a person, strongly support Speaker Mike Johnson. And we know that the way to save our country is this election year by electing President Trump, flipping the Senate from Democrat to Republican, and increasing our seats in the House. Well, we do not need more chaos.
I know if President Trump wins, he will secure the border. He's been talking about it for several years. But can we afford to wait 6 to 7 months in order to actually secure the border? Why aren't Republicans having any success securing the border?
You want to know why, Maria? Because of Joe Biden. Joe Biden can secure the border with a stroke of a pen. Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden can take up and sign into law our H.R. 2, the Secure the Border Act. It was Joe Biden's executive actions on his first days in office that created this wide-open border. So House Republicans, we also just sent over the impeachment articles to the United States Senate that Chuck Schumer doesn't even want to take up. The impeachment articles for Secretary Mayorkas, who has refused to comply with the law, leading to this lawless, wide-open border. And the American people are smart. They know that Joe Biden owns this crisis, and they know that House Republicans passed the most robust, strongest border security bill, and we've conducted oversight of this failed administration.
Right, and you're right. I think people do understand that. They also understand the ramifications of this wide-open border. So should you be now digging in and saying no money to Israel, no money to Ukraine, no money to Taiwan until the border is secured? Take up H.R. 2. Do it.
Well, we have said they should take up H.R. 2. We have sent over the impeachment articles. We will continue to stand for strong border security. But, Maria, when it comes to Israel aid, I disagree with you. We can have this disagreement. I think with our most precious ally under attack in the Middle East, it is incredibly important to show the world, because the American people understand it is important to support our most precious ally after they face the bloodiest day since the Holocaust with the Hamas terrorist attacks, on top of the Iranian attacks this weekend, which are direct attacks on Israel. So the Israel aid package, I believe, and we have voted to pass that, yet another bill that Chuck Schumer has refused to take up in the Senate.
I'm just trying to understand why you cannot get any success in closing the border, or at least securing the border. You've done an incredible job in terms of fighting anti-Semitism and in terms of your support for Israel, no doubt. Columbia University's president is going to testify before the House Committee on Education and that workforce later this morning about the school's response to anti-Semitism on its campus, Chairwoman. You have an op-ed out in the Post, the New York Post. You say the House will hold Columbia accountable for its campus anti-Semitism. You write, the unprecedented and continuous attacks on Israel's very existence have shocked the conscience of the world. They also expose the deep rot of anti-Semitism that exists within our society. And unfortunately, no sector has allowed this rot to grow more than America's colleges and universities. Chairman, what are you expecting from today's hearing, and how will you get a change to this anti-Semitism that seems to be spiking again?
Well, first of all, it's important for the viewers to know that the Columbia president was, in fact, invited when we had that historic hearing with Harvard, MIT, and Penn, and she did not attend that hearing. So as she looks at the past couple of months as the earthquake and the reckoning, and those two presidents became former presidents, there's been clearly a lot of preparation. She hired PR consultants, various attorneys to prepare today's testimony. That's not going to cover up for the failure of Columbia University to fail to protect Jewish students. They have tolerated and allowed professors who have anti-Semitic, consistent remarks targeting Jewish students. It includes assaults. They have not ensured that their rules are applied. For example, they are not allowed to, they have rules when it comes to where student groups can protest, and anti-Israeli groups are breaking those rules, and there's no disciplinary action taken. So we're going to ask those tough questions of this Columbia University professor, but I'll tell you, they're working overtime to try to cover this up. You saw an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, and my question, though, is they hired so many PR consultants to help the university presidents. How many people have they hired on campus to combat anti-Semitism? The answer is zero. Zero. And I will hold them accountable. We will hold them accountable.
Do you believe the dean of Columbia should be stepping down?
Well, certainly with her failure to condemn anti-Semitism, yes. That is going to be exposed in full at this hearing. No matter how much preparation, the facts are there. This is rampant on Columbia, and it's one of the dens of anti-Semitism that's the worst on college campuses.
Yeah. Congresswoman, you've done an incredible job on this. We so appreciate your time and your work on this. Thank you so much. We'll be watching.
Thanks, Maria.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik joining us this morning.